Grand Rising and welcome to New Mind, where our intention is clear and is to share information for transformation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to watch this or listen to this on the stream. If you're watching this, I hope you're enjoying the studio here in Dubai. And if you're listening to this and you feel like watching for a change, go check out our YouTube page. Link will be in the description. It's the New Mind podcast. Looking forward to engaging with you guys more. And let's dive deep into today's episode, tying up the final principle. Again, they're not in a specific order, but principle number 7. And principle number 7 is expanding consciousness and understanding that trading is a mirror for life. And I know you've heard me say this, and you probably heard others say this, that trading is not just about the markets, it's a mirror for your entire life. But it's true. The patterns you fight on the charts are the same ones you face outside of it, right? Think about this for a moment. The patterns that you fight in your trading is the same patterns that you find challenges that are outside of trading. And I want this to really resonate, or should I say sync within what I'm saying, because the way you trade, I say this all the time to my traders, by the way. I say the way you trade is the way you live. So how's your life? How are you living today? And, you know, it's like a moment of reflection, a moment of like, what do you mean? Like, so all the bad habits you have outside of trading is going to pour into your trading. All the good habits you have is going to do the same. So the way you trade is the way you live. So how do you live? Do you have discipline? Do you have routines? Do you have a good relationship with yourself, self-respect? Do you have strong conviction in yourself, in life in general? Do you trust your intuition? Do you have good emotional resilience and intelligence? Do you feel you are emotionally, are aware of your emotions? Do you know how to process? All of that outside of trading will obviously impact your trading, right? Because think about this. Impatience, for example, on the screen. Is impatience in relationships and life, right? If you're an impatient person, you're going to have that impatience in the screen. And you're going to find that same pattern in your life. Attachment to outcomes, another example. Attachment to outcomes in trading is attachment to everywhere else. I've known traders personally who are very much attached to outcomes and connecting that to their self-worth. And unfortunately, they move into connecting their performance in trading to their self-worth, because there's an attachment about succeeding in trading equals me being good enough versus not succeeding equals I'm not good enough. So there's a big attachment to the outcome, and that obviously reflects outside of their trading as well, right? I want you to think about it like trading is a dojo, a place to practice mastery of self. You know, it is literally this gym, if you want to call it. And the more you see certain things that go wrong in your trading, it's almost screaming out that you got work to do outside of trading. You got work to do on yourself. And it's tough. I know. That's why I work with traders and I understand it myself. It's not easy, and I'm not saying it is, but that is what the practice of self-mastery is. It's not going to be easy, but it's a beautiful reflection. It's a beautiful mirror of where you are at, you know? Think about it. Like, just take a moment now when I'm sharing this with you. Think about the patterns that you find challenging and the problems you face in trading. Guaranteed there's an indirect or even more clear direct connection with something outside of you, outside of trading. And I want to raise people's consciousness. And I always say this: consciousness is the ultimate edge. It's the awareness beyond the outcome. The more conscious you are, the more aware about this mirror of life that's reflecting on your screen, you are getting the signals. You are able to change. You're able to move and do something about it. So trading mastery becomes life mastery. That's what part of expanding your consciousness is. Because if you believe you're worthy and you have conviction in yourself and self-belief and self-trust, and you love yourself and everything you're doing outside of trading is aligned, come on, the chances of you succeeding in trading is pretty high, because that becomes just part of the package. It just becomes part of that identity, that personality. And that's why I always say, like, the inner work, about changing and updating your perceptions of how you see yourself. And when you shift how you see yourself, everything changes. The trade, the decision, the life, everything changes. Because it's an internal-external relationship. And everything first inside of us needs to change in order to see changes outside of us. I have I think I'll probably share this maybe on the YouTube channel later, but I have this masterclass where I literally go dive deep into understanding how our inner reality shapes our outside reality, using the neuroscience, not just, the wishy-washy, the actual neuroscience of understanding that everything changes once we change within us. And that is part of expansion of consciousness. That is the part of us understanding that there's something greater and deeper than this whole relationship with trading. There's the sense of detachment, freedom, flow. And when you get to that space of awareness, when you become more conscious about your energy and how you feel, everything starts to come together. You start to see opportunities on the screen. You start to avoid the things that just don't match you because your intuition is telling you, what are you doing? Like, you're not going to even attempt that because you deserve it. You believe you're worthy of it. And that expansion of consciousness, that expansion of awareness is what drives those behaviors, is what drives that elegance in achieving and becoming an abundant person in your life, or a trader for that matter. Because, I know a lot of traders are pushing, you have to have edge, you have to have edge, you have to have edge. Yes, of course. But why is 90% of traders failing? It's because it's not just the edge. There's more to it. There's more to it. Because the market doesn't care about your edge. It honestly doesn't. It reflects your state back to you. I'll repeat that one more time. The market doesn't really care about your edge. It reflects your state back to you. So how you're showing up in front of the screen, the energy you hold, the more conscious you are about yourself, about how you're feeling, where you're at, what's happening out in your life outside of trading. Does that have an impact in your trading? Your environment. I speak about environment a lot if you've listened to my previous podcast, which is very, very important as well. But that's part of you becoming aware. And again, it fits back into the whole equation, because the more conscious you are, the more expanded your consciousness is, the more, or should I say, the less reactive you are, because there's nothing to react to, because you are aware. And awareness is the first step to change. How aware are you? How aware are you of your insecurities? How aware are you of the things in your life that is not serving you today outside of trading, that is trickling into your trading, that is affecting your day-to-day trading, that's affecting your focus, affecting your discipline, affecting how you show up for yourself? What are those influences outside? I call them leaked energies, because you're leaking your energy. What are those? And how conscious are you about them? I know this sounds weird, but for me, I look at trading sometimes as a spiritual journey. It really is. Because you are using it to evolve, not just to earn. You're using this as a reflection of where you're truly at. How worthy are you of this? Because money is just the mirror. But mastery is internal. I'll say this one more time, guys. Money is just the mirror. Mastery is internal. So expanding your awareness is what separates short-term traders from true masters. And expanding that awareness, expanding that knowledge, expanding that consciousness is what's going to take you very far in life, is what's going to get you to the destination that you actually want. The destination, which I call living a life of absolute freedom, a life on your terms, a life that you feel proud about, you feel good about, you feel that you have moved the needle in your life. But you can't get there if you're not a conscious person. It's the truth. You can't get there if you're operating on programs. You have to be conscious, and you have to work on expanding your consciousness. And you have to have this attitude of ever learning. Not, oh, I've reached here, I've made 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, that's it, I know it all. That's the biggest and worst lie you sell yourself when you think you know it all. Because let me tell you, no one knows it all. No one. And the truth is, we don't know what we don't know. There's so much out there that if you never heard about it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's out there. And that's why traders that are successful are the traders that have that attitude of open to expand their consciousness, open to constantly learn, not only just updating their strategies with the market changes, of course that goes without saying, but more about what they're doing in their day-to-day, more about evolving and connecting with themselves and growing in all aspects of their life, because it's the mirror again, guys. Just remember, it all reflects back. So when we're having challenges, when we're not profitable, when we're not making money, it's not just the edge. It's not just your skill set. It's not just the indicators you're getting, whatever. It goes far deeper than that. It goes way, way, way deeper than that. And this is where most people, unfortunately, are unaware. Most traders are unaware that it's bigger than just this frame that they see through their eyes. There's a more depth in what shows up and why it keeps showing up and why they keep getting the same patterns and why they keep getting the same roadblocks and why they can't grow beyond a specific threshold. It's all interconnected with their identity and how expanded they are versus being very contracted in what they're doing. So guys, this is me wrapping up the final principle, which is about expanding your consciousness. And it was actually one of my missions when I started this journey almost a decade ago, to raise people's consciousness so that they can master their life and master themselves. And funny how life goes, where I ended up working with traders and CEOs and entrepreneurs. And again, I'll say it over and over again, I don't have all the answers. But what has helped me is the experience I have gained helping others. And believe it or not, they have been my best teachers. And in fact, most of these principles that I'm sharing with you has been principles that have reflected back through the work where I've been working with them and how they showed up. And when they were shifted, when they were improved, when they were dealt with, there was an immediate reflection in their reality, and the outcomes showed up because they did something about it and they hold these principles. Now, maybe some of these principles that I've shared for you, my listener, maybe you have some of them already. Maybe they're already part of your scope. Maybe you're doing well, but maybe some of them aren't. And that's why I wanted to bring those 7 that I found the most helpful in our work and in developing the right mindset and the right energy and the right conviction in what you're doing, where I've seen the results perform well and move the needle in terms of profitability, because ultimately that's what everyone is after, is making money, right? And making more money comes with a specific set of mindsets and skill sets that you need to have within your identity and within the personality of that future self that's going to generate the wealth that you want. Because you can never generate what you want being the person you are today. Something about you needs to change first in order to become that future self, which will unlock that timeline and unlock those results in your life. So guys, one more time, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching this or listening to this on the stream. Please, guys, I am asking you to subscribe to the channel so we can contribute towards the channel. I'm asking you to please make a comment if this resonates. If you found any value in this series, I would love that. My intention is to create more of these mini series because it's something you can go back to. It's something that it's easy to sort of combine, and it's little nuggets of reflection with actionable insights that are done with the intention to help you, to support you, to make you to help you become a better version of yourself, both in trading and in life. So thank you so much for being on this ride with me, and on to the next one. Much love and positive energy.